More and more unaccompanied minors are trying to cross the border these days. Migration at the southern border is seeing a sharp rise overall. Press Secretary Jen Psaki said the administration is making an effort to convey to them, quote, "This is not the time to come," that the majority of the people who come to the border will be turned away. But she slipped away from answering any direct questions about whether or not there's an immigration crisis.
Look, I don't think we need to sit here and put new labels on what we have already conveyed is challenging. What we have conveyed is a top priority for the president, what our policy teams are working on every single day.
Psaki also dodged a question about whether the number of migrant children has tripled.
Why won't you confirm that number? That's a very important number.
We've been very clear that there is an increase, that there are more children coming across the border than we have facilities for at this point in time.
Psaki directed the reporter to ask the Department of Homeland Security for those figures, but the reporter said the DHS would not confirm the number.
I would encourage you to go back to them and ask them again. We're not going to confirm them from the White House. It's not our program.
Psaki said the administration encourages transparency, but she said what's really important is the root cause of the problems and the policies to address them. She also said reporters and cameras will be let into the migrant facilities, but she didn't say when. Christina Kim, NTD News.
Experts say President Biden's policies are enriching Mexican cartels as immigration surges. This as Biden refuses to answer questions about the escalating crisis on the southern U.S. border.
There's a crisis at the border, sir.
Law enforcement officials say profits from human smuggling are booming because of Biden's immigration policies. Teresa Cardno-Brown directs an immigration policy group in Washington. She says migrants have to pay off the cartels as they pass through their territory. It can cost thousands of dollars per person to make the full journey, and all of that money flows to the criminals. Law enforcement recently discovered that cartels are using colored wristbands to track who has paid. Brown says the cartels find more efficient ways to operate, just like a business. Members of both parties say Biden's policies put migrants at risk by exposing them to the cartels. Texas Representative Vicente Gonzalez is a Democrat representing a border region. He says migrants are being terrorized along the trek to the U.S.
I think this policy forces them to make a 2,000-mile walk. That is very dangerous, and they're getting raped and pillaged along the way. And I think we need to come up with more common-sense solutions.
And doing so,
Republican Representative Chip Roy tells the Epoch Times that Biden claims his policies are compassionate to migrants, but the results are just the opposite.
And while the president is sitting in the White House in Washington, there are immigrants in stash houses being abused. There are immigrants being abused on the journey. There are cartels that are using these people for profit. That is happening right now.
Roy says a secure border is safer for immigrants. That's because cartels operate human smuggling alongside other criminal activities.
That's all integrated in then what turns into human trafficking, sex trafficking, basically slavery, modern day slavery in the United States, where people are being forced to work against their will or being forced to be in sex trade against their will.
Jason Jones is a former captain for the Texas Department of Public Safety. He tells the Epoch Times that Biden's policies are a game changer for cartels and that they're out of control. Jones says the immigration crisis at the border makes life easier for the drug smugglers and predicts that the next crisis will be skyrocketing rates of U.S. drug overdoses later this year.